How you doing, guys? Big Mac Dance School here today. On the screen in front of you is the Void Weaver I've been painting for next New Year's painting challenge. And yeah, I've got a bit of red on there now. There would have been more red on there. It would have been all the way to the front and maybe a little bit of orange at the front as well. But it was the first time I'd used a Citadel base paint and run it through my airbrush. So I put it in and then I put a bit of thinner in. And I mixed it up and I sprayed it through, and it came through all right until I sort of got to near the point where I was finished spraying, and then it sort of hesitated a little bit going through. It didn't want to come through quite as easily, but eventually I finished spraying, and then I came to clean my airbrush, and then switch the colour. But the airbrush was an absolute bugger to clean. So obviously the Citadel base paints, it was corn red I used. The Citadel base paints, they come with that much more pigment that they just really struggle to go, not to go through the airbrush necessarily, but it's a real struggle to. I found it on this occasion a real struggle to clean out my airbrush. It took me probably a good 30 to 45 minutes maybe to get it fully clean. It's clean now though, so no further damage done to the airbrush or anything like that. But yeah, it's just a note to self basically. Next time, make sure I put a little bit more thinner in for the base paints. I've run the Citadel layer paints through the brush before, and they've been no problem. But yeah, for some reason the base paint, well, I say for some reason, I know the reason, it's got more pigment in, so it needs a little bit more thinner obviously next time, the base paint. Anyway, let's get talking about the miniature on the screen. Yeah, the Void Weaver. So I've gone in with red. As you can see again, I've used masking tape to make a diamond pattern, and I've sprayed over the black to grey, or grey rather, at the front, and then there's a gradient to the black at the back. I've sprayed over that now with the corn red, but I've sort of faded out. You can see in the last row of diamonds, or just before the last row of diamonds, the red sort of fades out into black, so I'm going for a slightly different feel with this one compared to my previous Void Weaver. So I just want it to look a bit darker, a bit more sinister maybe. This is probably going to be my Troop of the Dark Harlequin Void Weaver. So yeah, basically just the corn red on there at the minute. I've been waffling on a lot now, so I'll get on to the next miniature. So the next miniature you can see is the Solitaire, and what I've done with the Solitaire is it's like a happy accident really, because it was the cape for the Solitaire was sat in the background when I was spraying my Void Weaver, and some of the red paint that I was spraying kind of got just caught the very corner of the cape, which is going to form the lower part of the greatcoat. And then I kind of like the way it just got a light dusting of it over the dark colour. So what I was going to do was paint the inside of the cape in the corn red, and then just leave the outside as a grey-black sort of colour. But then when the light dusting hit the corner of the cape, I just thought, that looks kind of good. I might as well just spray the rest of it now. It's in a situation where I've got to do something, so I sort of sprayed around the edges, the very bottom of the cape, and I quite like the looks of it, so I sprayed it all over. And it turns out it's because I kind of I'd shaded in the recesses, I'd used a black in the recesses, and then the raised areas were all still a light grey. It gives it a nice a two-tone sort of effect. Which is one of those happy accidents that sort of happen now and again in miniature painting. So I'm quite pleased with the way it's come out. I'm hoping I can do the rest of the miniature justice. Still not set yet on the face, on the head, whether to go with the hooded head or the mast head. So I'm going to leave that off, until the very last minute. And again, not set on what I want to do for the armour plates on the legs, but once I've got the Void Weaver complete, I'll concentrate just on the Solitaire, and then that'll be my my New Year painting challenge complete, really. So yeah, hopefully the next update I'll have at least the rest of the reds and oranges on the Void Weaver for you. So thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the battlefield.